I am not an attorney, nor am I a judge, but this was exciting and fun. I'm a professor of political science and done mock trial back in the...
Excuse me, before you give comments, the timekeepers have to take the ballots.
Just
Just the blue ones, you can keep your comments.
I was just testing you guys. You guys passed. Phew.
All right.
Yeah, I got it.
You saying? I'm gonna wait till these guys get out. But actually during the break, we were just chatting with a few folks and it was just like, you guys are so good. All around the room, you guys are just outstanding. So, and I know that you guys have done this so many different times, so it's kind of hard to keep it fresh and all that. I'm sure that I probably sustained and overruled some things that probably threw you through loops here and there. But you guys did a fine job with that.
Do we need the yellow sheet? No.
No.
All right.
We're just going to kind of go through and talk about each performance there a little bit, and obviously we gave plenty of comments throughout as well, so we'll give you a reader. Certainly mine, she's got it right. I'll start with the opening statement on plaintiff's side, Laura, right? And very clear, composed, and good eye contact. One thing I think would look good is to kind of stage yourself. So I'm looking at Mom over here because Mom is a very appealing witness over here. And so when she's crying as you're talking about Sydney, that's like, whoa. So maybe stage yourself so we can see her anguish. I'd like to hear a little bit more about what those body of lies are, kind of come through. And that's going to be something I'll just kind of just lay out there. That's kind of your theme of the case. But I don't know if it came through so well throughout the case. There was the connection between the opening and the closing, but it didn't really kind of come through during the case so well. So that's something to consider. But good substance along with the motion to the opening. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I mean, were you just jerking in?
Yeah,
Okay,
just
sorry. No, that I had the same notes. Clear instructions, good use of body language, good emotion too. So, yeah, kind of back to his original point, it's got to be difficult to do this and remember all of the points to make every time you do this performance. So, yeah, that was my feedback as well.
You want to hit PC? I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, I didn't. I wanted to make sure I was doing this. I am, my background is in legal research consulting, so I work with all the law firms and judges and courts in Ohio and West Virginia. So while I am not a lawyer, I do work with lawyers day in and day out, and I can just kind of second what he said. You guys are all very, very talented, and I know you're all going to make really great lawyers someday. You can see the passion in what you do, and it's nice to see it at this raw stage before you're maybe a little jaded in the real world. But similar to what he was saying, the themes, the stories, I mean, I appreciate that you guys both kind of adopted that methodology, and I think you guys did a great job carrying that throughout. I loved how you set the expectation of certain precedents, certain cases, certain codes right off the bat. So it really, yes, UTC, I'm sorry. I thought you did a great job using that to kind of strengthen your opening from the beginning.
Yeah, just kind of laying it out, and it was an accident piece. It's an accident. Just kind of laying that out was good. Pointing the gun, that was good. There was, you did that as well. So, fine job. Kind of moving into the actual case in chief, then Taylor. Let me start with the witness, Julia, right? Mm-hmm. Very believable, appropriate to character, well done. I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
The witnesses all around, I just want to say, like, you guys are, I don't know if you guys are doing theater or not, but you should be. And Taylor, you just seem really in command, confident in your role, in your position. There was a good objection you had on cross there, exclamation point. Maisha, over on this side, there was a good objection and argument on the character piece of it, kind of going back and forth on that. Very well done. And, you know, you showed a lot of quick, lucid thinking throughout that portion of it. And that, again, that's a tough witness to handle, so.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same comments. You did a phenomenal job. I think it might have been nice to hear your part at the end too, a little bit more about, you know, what you had to say, because I think that emotion kind of got lost in the rest of what we were doing. But I thought it was wonderful. You were I put very detailed on here because you kind of were able to lay out the day very well and ask great questions to get you to that point. I second the thing on the objections. Both sides did a great job with both of those. I liked how you referenced our previous rulings. So when you were objecting, you said, you know, you already said this because, you know, obviously that adds credibility to your objection. So I thought you both did a good job there.
And on Emerson Couples, very believable, all you guys, just, you know, very believable, good control of your facts and expertise. I mean, you weren't over the top, which was good, and, you know, I believed you. Nadia, good argumentation, particularly there was an objection that was made there, and you really kind of, you stuck with it, and that was very, very good, very clear, direct. TC, the objection was really good, particularly on the email evidence. I thought that was a kind of very good back and forth. You know, I don't know, maybe this is part of like doing this so many times, but just kind of and maybe it's in the actual case as well, on just kind of establishing that, you know, Couples is just calling him a psychopath. And if that's something that you don't want to argue or not, but I thought, wow, Couples just said he's a psychopath in court, and she's an expert, and now we're arguing his, you know, that piece of it. And you came back to it in the case, which I thought was good, but let's see here. But you did, on the cross, I thought you did make the expert look suspicious. There was a good impeachment as well on that, so.
A lot of, same thing, maybe, I promise we didn't talk.
We'll
when
go
we were
back
writing
and
these
forth. You go to the
notes.
next one.
No, I just also wanted to say, kind of second, the great rebounding from objections, Nadia. I mean, you did a great job, you both. TCI had on here that you were incredibly well versed in the statutes and precedent, all of that. And so it was you didn't even have to go back to look at your notes or something. You knew it right off the bat, so I thought that was very impressive. I do think this was your strongest expert. I thought Claire did a wonderful job, exactly what you said, not over the top, but you challenged them just enough. And I remember from my mock trial days, it was like you want to make them kind of squirm a little bit when they're asking questions and not answer directly what they're saying. And I thought you did a fabulous job at that. So, good job.
But then Dr. Sebastian, start with the character. You know, I would probably lose the blowing gun, you know, like kind of the police academy. It was fun. I think you know, it was fun and entertaining. But after I got past that, the nerdiness, I hope it was nerdiness.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I hate to say that, you know, I'm just me myself.
No.
But I thought that was actually very good. But you don't want to go so far over the top. And that's what she was saying about, you know, that it's like, okay, now you're just total character and not, you know, losing myself in what you're actually saying. But the nerdiness at that point, kind of like I'm the smartest guy in the room, was good. But
Yeah.
maybe inconsistent with the other. And then Laura, again, very composed, clear. You know, it's kind of tough to, you know, very clear. You got what you needed out of it, which I thought was really good. And Jaleesa, again, you know, that was kind of, that this is who you are in real life, is just kind of a calm, you know, direct person, and you're able to do that and get your points across without being too feisty. And it's kind of tough sometimes because there's a tendency to be real adversarial in this and try to want to, you know, but that's okay. And that was really good to just kind of see that you're just like, I'm just getting the facts out, and that's all I need to do, and that's okay.
Yeah, I agree. You were a great balance because I think there's so much passion from so I think it's a great team effort, which is all good things, but I thought it was a good break in like he said, you're getting the facts out. So I think it's a great choice on your part to have you do that section because it's just informative. So I thought that was great. I definitely enjoyed your character as well. I agree. The nerdiness was wonderful. The smoking gun did make me laugh, but I think the more you embrace that nerdiness, the more the facts, and you did such a great job at using the facts to explain the story. It's very well understood. I could understand exactly where the process went, and I thought you played a perfect role in that.
Then to Jesse, right, Jesse Duran. Holy cow, I worry about you. Like, you know, you're a character the whole time, all the way through, and I'm just like, you know, what are you thinking about right now? Like, dead puppies?
No, actually, I just thought about what if I had actually shot my best friend. My best friend is literally like my brother. We've grown up together, so if I had lost him, I don't know what I would have done.
Oh, that's so cute.
Really? But, you know, in many ways, like, that's hard. That's hard to deal with in this particular case because, you know, you guys are trying to say he's a big liar. You know, the body of lies, and then here comes this guy who's like, I just want to get out of here, you know.
I wrote that down.
It was good
Yeah.
from that sense. Very believable. You know, although before you actually took the stand, I was like thinking he might be a psychopath. Because there was that piece of like, you know, the kind of distant south. I'm like, you know, what's going on there? But obviously all the emotion piece, you know, that's.
Last I checked, I'm not, but who knows?
Okay. And that was something to kind of hit on this side, Laura Jane. Again, you did a good job because he was like,
It was so hard. I was like, oh.
you know, he's just saying, because you know you have to wait and say, oh, do you need a minute? But it's hard to do that sometimes. And you did it several times. That was great. But, you know, maybe you could have pushed him on, you know, because he's like, she was my only friend. You know, oh yeah, she's your only friend? Well, this kind of speaks back to what Emerson was saying earlier about his distance from everybody else, that kind of stuff. Just a little thing. But again, Jaleesa, again, kind of the right staging, calm, composed, very maternal. You know, there's kind of a maternal aspect to that, which obviously he needs. Excellent directed. Laura, again, you were all actually very maternal there too. I mean, like you were that was good. Like just kind of, you know, motherly, and you feel bad for the kid, but you still did it, right? So excellent. You were very patient also. That's really hard to do in this kind of a situation.
Yeah, and I think to take that a step further, all of your courtroom etiquette was very well done too. So, and I know you guys and both sides had very emotional witnesses, and you were both very cognizant of that fact. So I think that speaks volumes, like you said, of your patience. You know what you're trying to get to, and I think that will help all of you. You know what points you're trying to get to with these experts, and you can tell when you are starting to get on a point and you really believe in it, because you start just fluidly thinking, or that lucid thinking, and you can, as a judge, I can see, okay, they know what they're trying to get at, but if it's something you're kind of trying to fish for, maybe you might be stumbling, or you might not have the exact wording right. So I would challenge you all to make sure that you have a short list of knowing exactly what you want the experts to talk about or to accomplish, because I think I also saw that in some, I don't know if it was this expert or not, but there wasn't even cross-examination because they didn't get out what you had thought they were going to get out of, or vice versa. So does that make sense?
On DeRosa, Katie, I thought you were very clear, articulate, good facts, relevant to the case, the role of accidents, right? You just kind of laid that out there. And TC, you're very, very poised, very well organized. You know, noted the association between guns and violence with kids. And then Taylor, you're very direct, which was good. I would have pounced, and this is, I mean, whatever, but pound, you know, and again, I don't know how much of this has been played out in other, like, venues. Like, does it come up about her, like, past trauma? Did you add that, like, past trauma with, in your own family with a gun accident?
Yeah, I made that up.
I would have jumped all over.
I was like,
that.
oh, okay.
I would have said, doesn't
I've
that
never
crowd?
been crossed on like not.
I'd have nailed that. I'd have said, so you're coming in already with past trauma in your family about gun violence. I mean, doesn't that, you know, affect your analysis, so on, so on, so on. So I'd probably lose that if I were you. You know, that's something to definitely pounce all over that on the bias piece of it. But you did a good job of saying you never did X, Y, and Z with this particular witness, so that was great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was, you were very believable. I think you could have been as effective as Claire. It's just, there wasn't as much cross-examination with yours. So I think you didn't get a full chance to shine. I think you were right there. You're ready to go. But what you did or were able to be on the stand for, I mean, you were believable, clear, concise. And I believe that both of you, that you were very well-educated women who, you know, have been in their profession. So I think you did a great job at that coming across.
Then on Chapin, I believe, Yanni, you are who you say you are. Like, you got cut by the Browns, and liked your barbecue, and, you know, one night, which makes you likable. And then, but it did come out, you know, there was kind of that give and take back and forth, Nadia, with, on the drinking, on the vodka and Red Bulls.
Yep.
You know, you're going after them on that. And, you know, good job, because I know you're getting frustrated, like I wouldn't let you hit there. But then, I would probably just come up, so how many, when he was being a little flip, right? So he's likable, and then all it says, well, of course I can count, I passed math. Well, how many did you have? Right? Or, you know, put something like,
I'm free to make that number up.
I know you're free to make that number up. Then you can come after and say, well, then how is it that you couldn't, you know that you had so many?
So do you think I should just not say that? Because I like baited her into that impeachment so I could like say that. So is that a no for?
Different people might see different things. I don't know what you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could have been taken either way. I appreciated the tenacity. I mean, I thought you did such a great job. You just wouldn't let it go, and so I thought that was great. And I think that's what an attorney does, right? They know why they're trying to get to the certain points. I do think you did a great job because that's part of your role as I mean, that's the main thing that witnesses do in this competition is kind of get them off their game and exactly like you said, bait me into doing this. So I think it's going to depend on who you have, but just, you know, obviously be careful because you don't want to get impeached. That's not.
I figured I didn't think it was a really strong impeachment if you considered it, you know, so I figured I'd try it. Apparently I gotta go one more round because y'all.
I had a question about, because I know that she crossed on both the being drunk thing and then tried to use the testimony to say that Jesse's expression was blamed. And I was wondering if you guys thought that that was like kind of counterproductive, like saying that he saw this stuff and then saying that he was drunk. You know, like I was wondering if that was something.
It was like discrediting him, but then trying to use a discredit witness to
Right.
accredit your other
And that's why I was
witness.
confused, because I was like, oh, usually people go after one or the other, not both, because like, I just feel like they kind of shoot themselves.
I don't think either really took it much further than trying to just discredit you. I mean, I don't think in this general story either point was brought forward. I think it was more just to be used as discrediting the witness. I don't know, do you see it differently or?
Again, the thing on our side of it is we've never heard this case.
Right, well, I was just
ever.
wondering if that was.
Which it was kind of like, that didn't
Right.
register too much
Okay.
to me.
But I agree with him. I think you did a great job bringing that character to life too. I mean, I'm a Bengals fan, so.
I had this argument, we didn't know what team to go.
We were
I
trying to
didn't know
figure
that
out
was
which
even-
one. He asked me last night, he's like, because I'm from Akron.
He's from Ohio,
So-
so I said, which team?
He's like, which
He
team?
said
And I was like,
Brown.
you're probably
Well,
more
I'm
apt to
from
hit
Cleveland,
from
so I
here.
appreciate it.
Well, I had to laugh because I didn't know if that was written into the character summary or not, but, yeah, so I wanted to make sure I brought that up, but, yeah, I thought you were very believable. What I loved was how you were believable on how Jesse reacted when you were explaining on your, initial, explanation of it. You were talking about how his mouth was open. I mean, it was just very lay witness explanation. I thought it was just such a great job.
You were like a real person, it wasn't fair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You are. And then Laisha, very clear, organized, the asked and answered was good, I thought, you know, yeah, let's go. Which I thought was sharp and well done. On the closing, I think I already mentioned, like, the body of lies piece of it, you know, it's got to carry through a little bit more during the case to make that connection back and forth, going into the other piece. And it was just kind of like cognitive dissonance, and that might have been because of Jesse, that he just never seemed like a liar either. He just seemed like maybe he just made a big mistake. But that, I don't know how you overcome that when you know, he didn't seem weaselly or anything like that, so. I don't know.
I loved how you guys did you both did it actually, put the figures into it. I don't know if you wrote yours in because they did theirs first, but I mean, that's so real life. When you start talking money, it starts to take away the emotion a little bit and it makes it look like they're a hired gun or what have you. And I mean, I do research on it all the time, so it's definitely something that really appeals to the jury or the judge. So I thought that was really well done. I think you're incredibly effective, Nadia, when you, kind of back to that point, when you know what you're trying to say. I think you're just so good. That lucid, fluid kind of thinking and speaking, I think, is very emotion. I mean, I can feel kind of your emotion to the case, so I thought you did a great job with that. Maisha, I think you blew me away with your closing. You were just so impressive with the flow of information. You were confident, you were clear, you articulated on the points you wanted to make. You looked at us the entire time. There was no kind of looking around the room. Very confident the way you walked. I just thought you did a fantastic job.
Tight, efficient, strong. That you went back to the facts, but you also brought in some emotion. Bringing, and again, you're fortunate with that particular character to bring him back into it. You know, the kind of human side of it on that side as well, but also not disparaging mom over here. I mean, this is a major tragedy that unfolded. So, you know, again, you guys are all, I'd hire you in a few years. I don't want to meet you, but you guys were good. You never know.
I thought you had a creative rebuttal too. I mean, obviously that's one of the hardest parts, right? Because you don't know what they're going to say, and I thought you did a great job, especially just standing here, not having your co-counsel with you to help. I thought you did a great job with that. Y'all did.
Thank you. All right. Good luck.